Okay, so here's something to think about. The UK's economy just grew by 0.4% last quarter, and nearly half of that came from one sector, information and communications. That's a huge shift.
That's incredible. It really shows how much technology, especially AI, is shaping the future of economies. Let's break it all down.
Welcome to DeActa Daily Digest. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Juniper. Here are today's top stories.
So let's start with the UK's economic growth. The numbers are clear. AI-related industries are driving a significant portion of the expansion. The information and communications sector alone accounted for nearly half of the 0.4% growth in the second quarter.
And within that sector, computer programming, consultancy, and related activities, which include AI firms, grew by 3.7% quarter on quarter. That's following a similar rise in the previous quarter. It's not just a trend, it's a trajectory.
Exactly. And Prime Minister Andy Burnham seems to be making AI a cornerstone of his administration's strategy. Since taking office in July, he's elevated AI to a cabinet-level priority. He's also focusing on tech sovereignty, which is about ensuring the UK retains control over its technological advancements.
That's a smart move, especially in a world where tech is becoming a key driver of global influence. But it's not just about policy. The numbers show businesses are investing heavily in the infrastructure needed to support AI. Spending on ICT equipment, particularly computer hardware, has surged, pushing total investment in plant and machinery to $22.1 billion in Q2.
And that's almost as high as the peak we saw in early 2022, which was influenced by tax breaks. It's clear that companies are gearing up for the AI revolution. Even manufacturing is benefiting, with firms producing computing, electronic, and optical products seeing a 10.7% year-on-year increase in output.
That's their strongest performance since 2017. It's fascinating how AI is creating ripple effects across different sectors. But I wonder, how sustainable is this growth? AI has the potential to disrupt jobs and industries, and that could create challenges down the line.
That's the big question, isn't it? The government's focus on shielding workers from disruption will be critical. It's a balancing act between fostering innovation and addressing its societal impacts. But speaking of disruption, let's shift to Gaza, where the situation is anything but stable.
Yes, the Israeli drone strike targeting a Hamas commander in northern Gaza is a stark reminder of how fragile the region's peace efforts are. This is the first publicly reported operation of its kind since August 3rd, and it comes amid ongoing diplomatic efforts to curb targeted killings.
The timing is significant. The U.S., under President Trump, has been pushing a peace plan that includes a pause in these operations. But Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has rejected the proposal, insisting that Hamas must fully disarm before any pause can be considered.
It's a tough situation. On one hand, Israel argues that these strikes are necessary for security. On the other, they risk undermining peace efforts, and the human toll is undeniable. Gaza's health ministry reports 45 deaths since August 1st, and this latest strike injured at least 4 people.
The complexities don't end there. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a critical route for oil shipments, is becoming another flashpoint. A Houthi attack killed 6 people, including 3 Pakistanis, highlighting the region's volatility. With Iran effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. maintaining a blockade on Iranian ports, the stakes are incredibly high.
And let's not forget the broader diplomatic moves. Pakistan's foreign minister has been meeting with Iranian officials in an effort to lower tensions. Meanwhile, Turkey is criticizing Colombia for recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, adding another layer of complexity to an already tangled web of regional and global issues.
It's a reminder of how interconnected these issues are. Energy security, territorial disputes, and international diplomacy all intersect in ways that make solutions incredibly challenging. But let's pivot to something a bit closer to home for many of our listeners: tech investments. The comparison between Adobe and BigBear.ai is a fascinating study in contrasts.
It really is. Adobe represents the safe, established choice. Their product ecosystems, Creative Cloud, Document Cloud, and Experience Cloud, are deeply integrated into the workflows of creators, marketers, and enterprises. That kind of market position is hard to disrupt.
And it shows in their financials. Adobe generates about $10 billion in free cash flow with a net margin near 30%. Plus, they're not resting on their laurels. Their planned acquisition of Topaz Labs shows they're actively expanding their AI capabilities.
On the other hand, BigBear.ai is more of a speculative play. They're focused on niche areas like AI analytics and decision intelligence, particularly in government and logistics. But they're struggling financially with declining revenue and a net loss of $294 million.
It's a high-risk, high-reward scenario. If BigBear.ai can stabilize and turn a profit, their focus on defense and national security AI could offer substantial upside, but that's a big if.
Meanwhile, Adobe's entrenched market position and strong cash flow make it the more conservative choice for investors. It's a classic case of stability versus potential. For those who want dependable returns, Adobe seems like the safer bet.
But for those willing to roll the dice, BigBear.ai could be intriguing. It's a reminder that in the tech world, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to investing. Different strategies work for different risk tolerances and goals.
Exactly, and that's what makes these stories so compelling. Whether it's the UK's AI-driven growth, the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, or the divergent paths of Adobe and Big Bear AI, they all highlight the complexities and interconnectedness of our world.
Well said. And with that, we'll wrap up for today. These are stories that will continue to evolve, and we'll be here to unpack them as they do.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.